have a lot of questions right now. I know there's some kind of expectation that when people come into this space, we, the ones who are standing up here, are supposed to have some kind of answers for the biggest questions we are facing. But I just want to remind you that we are no more or less human than anybody else in this room. We are no more or less wise than anybody in this room. We've just studied more Torah, probably. So right now, the questions have to matter. The questions have to matter as much as the answers right now. Figuring out which questions are the right questions and when it is appropriate to ask those right questions, that's not always easy, because the way in which we ask questions and the timing of our questions often determines the kinds of answers we will receive. The tone sometimes with which we ask our questions will determine the kinds of answers that we receive. I think the Torah gets this. I think it gets this. The ones divinely inspired to craft that sacred text, the inanimate ones behind me that are still eternally alive, I think they got it. So Genesis, the book of Genesis, which we began somehow last Saturday night in the midst of Simchat Torah, while in shock, while in mourning, but mostly just in shock. And especially its first parsha, Bereshit, it's got some important questions. First questions. Bereshit has defining questions for what it means to be a Jew and a human in any era, but especially now. God's first question in the Torah is to Adam, Chava, the first humans, after they have eaten from the fruit they were not supposed to eat from, and they go into hiding. Vayikra Adonai Elohim el ha'adam vayomer lo Ayeka. God called out to the human and said to him, "Where are you, Ayeka?" God's first question in the entire Torah was to a human hiding from a significant part of what it means to be human: shame. Where are you? This is a question for which, on its surface, the questioner already knew the answer. God knew where Adam was, physically. That's what makes the question so critically. Where are you, Adam, human, in here? Where are you figuratively right now? Ayeka, where are you? It's an eternal question, and it's one that in some ways is as simple as ever for me to answer, 7 days after a Hamas terror attack, the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. The start of the next war and what feels like an endless cycle of them. Simple. I'm East. I'm in Israel. I'm in and have been for 7 days in every apartment I've ever lived in there, every coffee shop, every bar that I frequented, every Shabbat table I sang at. I'm in Shul in Katamon and my shtibel in Baka. I'm in Hod HaSharon at the Blue Falafel Hut. I'm with my extended family in Haifa. I'm in my friend Rabbi Sykes' bomb shelter with him. Ayeka, God asks, "Where are you?" "I'm home," I answer. But I didn't expect to be. I didn't want to be even. I spent a glorious month in this home with thousands of you, praying, singing, laughing, dancing. We dedicated our holidays, our Yamim Noraim, to recreating this place as home, and it felt like enough. It felt like more than enough. All the home that I need. But what was enough then is not enough now. Ayeka, God asks, "Where are you?" in the East. With every email from one of you telling us of a family member who is one of the 1,300 murdered Jews. I'm in multiple Israel Engagement Committee meetings, emailing back and forth with Dennis Yedwab more than I think I'd ever wanted to, no offense. Just listening, what more can we do? I'm home in the East. I'm in Israel, 24/7. I'm in Lauren's office. It's a home of mine, whether she likes it or not. And we're listening to David expertly take us and Beth Heifetz through any potential security threats here in this home. I'm on a clergy call, and Cantor Brown's screen comes on, and she's weeping because she finally went back to watching the news after giving herself a small break, and she can't stop crying. And I'm wondering if Randy wears his flag outfit to sleep too. Look, I'm still me, even when I'm crying. Got no filter. I'm home. I'm here last night in the service, one of the most cathartic experiences I've had in my rabbinic life. Listening to Rabbi Krinsky say out loud to this community, my 19-year-old cousin died on the border of Gaza a week ago. Ayeka, where are you? East. I'm home, even when I'm not. Where am I? I'm in a text thread with Hirsch Goldman Poland's aunt. I watched Hirsch grow up for over a decade, every Passover at Ramah Darom in Georgia. I have learned a ton of Torah with his dad, John, likely more Torah than I've learned with anybody in this room. We've made Seder together, and Hirsch is a hostage in Gaza, and he's very wounded, and time is running out. Ayeka, where am I? I'm home. I'm where I belong right now. I am in the East, from the West. Ayeka, such a simple question. There's no easy answers. I'm in a WhatsApp group with Ramah Darom alumni. There are 1,000 of us, probably more by now, in this WhatsApp group. My guess is about 700 of them are Americans alumni, and about 300 of them are Pash Shlichim, Israeli alumni. The Israelis are in uniform, on bases, other unknown locations, and since last Shabbat, we have been texting each other. Any news on David Rachamim or his wife Galit? Corey reached out, somebody responded. Hasn't heard back yet. Anyone heard from Chagai Hamburger? How about Lior Chai, Orly Inbar? My old friend Shoham writes from the south, hi everyone, I'm so happy to see how much all of you care about us. Oded then sends a picture in his army fatigues, and he writes, appreciate the concern and desire to help. Any type of gear or equipment you can send is helpful. In fact, the equipment you see me in right now came from donations from America. Moshe Tashnadi, who's there at the beginning with us in 1997, he was a security guard, Appalachia, northern Georgia. I remember one summer, it was probably the first summer, we built that camp in the middle of KKK territory. That's where the land was. One summer before, we had really had a chance to get to know all of our neighbors, there were a group of locals on ATVs, about 20 of them came to, I want to say greet us with as much fear as possible. And they stopped right outside the gates of the camp, revving up the engines. And I remember we were on the basketball courts, which is on the border of the camp. There are no fences or anything like that, with the kids doing our Pulat Erev, our evening program. And all of a sudden, there's like all of these ATVs, and it's loud. And the only thing I remember is Moshe Tashanati walks right out the front gate, right up to the group of ATVs to confront them as if he were shooing away birds. Moshe was the Israeli other Israelis were scared of. Here's what Moshe Tashnadi wrote to me this week, to everyone. Thanks for the concern. We really appreciate it. I would love to receive more information about alumni in the IDF so I can contact them. In general, if there is anyone who does not feel safe or wants a warm home, I would love for them to contact me. My home is their home. Ayeka, God asks, and I'm home. Apparently, I'm in Moshe Tashnadi's home, which is my home too. I'm home in the east from the west. But my old friend Moshe Tashnadi is also answering another critical question of Bereshit, the one Sam taught us about this morning. Vayomer Adonai el Cain, hevel achicha, vayomer lo yadati, hashomer achi anochi? God said to Cain, where's your brother Abel? God knew. He said, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? It wasn't a question to be taken literally. It's too obvious to ask it as a literal question. Cain knew that he had killed his brother, and God was fully aware too. It was a general question meant for a specific moment to be used at any moment in our history. Are you responsible? Are you obligated for your siblings? Are we? And this is a question that doesn't actually get answered until the end of the book of Genesis, our family story, when Judah, who was the one who tried to get rid of Joseph, finally responds to the question, am I my brother's keeper? When he is pleading with his father Jacob to take Benjamin to Egypt because Joseph will not greet his brothers without Benjamin being present, and Judah knows taking Benjamin to Egypt will put his life in danger, but he also knows if he doesn't, he won't be able to save his family. Anochi e'erevnu miadi tivakshenu im lo tiviota elecha v'hitzagtiv lifanecha v'chatati lecha kol hayamim. I myself will be surety for him. I put my life on the line for his. You may hold me responsible if I don't bring him back to you, Father. I shall stand guilty forever. I am Benjamin's keeper. My brother and our future depend on his safety. This lesson, am I my brother's keeper, is taught through a family story. Our family story begins by responding to a question Cain asked. Am I my brother's keeper? Where am I? Ayeka, God asks. I answer, I am with my family. I'm in my family story this week. Our story. I saw a post about an announcement asking for people to host families from the south in Israel. Somebody called 45 minutes later, and the guy said, you're way too late. We already found everyone a place. He asked, how many families was it? He said, about 6,000. They found a place for 6,000 families in 45 minutes. Family. Is that a real story, by the way? I don't know. It doesn't even matter. I mean, it feels like a little much. But honestly, this war is a family story. So maybe it's possible. We learned in the last week, or we relearned, that within a world Jewish population of about 16 million, with the vast majority here and in the United States, that the degrees of separation are like that of a Jewish bubby named Kevin Bacon. 1 degree, maybe 2 degrees, for many of us, no degrees whatsoever. How does a family respond to am I my brother's keeper? How does it flip Cain's question of denial into one of responsibility? Like this. Feeding the Israeli embassy with home-cooked food in a 6-hour turnaround from request to delivery. You are doing that. That's family. It looks like this stack of letters religious school kids wrote here for school children, Israeli school children in the south. The Jewish people live, Am Yisrael Chai, stay strong, Tehiyeh Chazak. We are thinking about you, Choshvim Aleichem. We are thinking about you, the people, Yisrael, Chai, stay strong, good luck. I hope you are doing well and you have all you need to survive. I'm sending strength to you in my letter. I hope you are doing good. Letters, children to children. Family is a group of Addis members on a Zoom witnessing a community member talk about flying to Miami the next day to hug her brother before he flies back to meet his unit on the front lines. And everybody just listens and gets it. That's family. Family is what was described in a post by Israeli Michael Eisenberg. He said, tonight I went to visit one of my sons who is now in the army. was on base waiting for instructions, and the scene outside the base was wild. It was 10:45. There were restaurateurs who pitched tents to serve food they brought for soldiers. It felt like every mother and sister in the country was walking in with cooked food. Endless number of people walked around with aluminum tins filled with food. People walking around handing out extra pairs of socks and towels and toiletries because people were leaving home to get to their bases so quickly they didn't have enough time to bring everything that they needed. These were all civilian efforts, most of it organized over WhatsApp. There are groups of doctors and nurses, people with jeeps and drones, software engineers that are building tools to report issues, verify information, to reduce the fog of war. The Shomer HaChadash received a request for people who know how to milk cows. I'm not a Jew who knows how to milk a cow. Those who run the barns in Israel have been called up, so teenagers are volunteering to milk cows over the coming days to keep the shelves stocked. Families show up for one another. They feel with one another. They hold one another, even when they disagree, or precisely it is so powerful because we disagree so much. But there's more. There's more I need to say about what it means to at least ingest the entirety of, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sibling's keeper? Because our siblings are not only Jewish or part of a Jewish community. Our concentric circles don't end at those walls or those doors. My non-Jewish circle has held me over the past week. I know it's not everybody's experience, but it is absolutely mine. I felt kept by my sister when a Palestinian friend wrote to me, no matter what, my heart feels connected to yours. I wish we could change more of the world together. Until then, I cry with you as much as I smile with you and sing with you. I too, my friend. I felt kept when my colleagues, my friends from the interfaith organizing world told me they were praying for us, this community as we grieved. Rabbi Alexander, thinking of you with the news from Israel, praying for your family and friends that they are safe and you've been able to connect with them. I send prayers to the Jewish community in this really tough and hard moment. A Baptist church from DC sent to our entire clergy team. I am reaching out in this painful moment to express my own grief and the grief of our congregation over the attacks on Israel by Hamas. Our congregation is remembering you, the Addis Israel congregation, and the worldwide Jewish community in our prayers for peace and justice. Look, I know for some of you that's not enough. You need everything condemned in every moment. But for me, I want to feel kept by my friends, my siblings, and this helps a lot. It helps that Joel and Amy Rainey are here with us this morning. Pastor Joel and I have been through a lot together. He drove in from West Virginia to sit and witness this congregation. It matters. And there's still more. Because Bereshit also teaches us that humanity, all of us, each of us, is created in God's image. Part divine, we are such, B'Tselem Damut Tavnito. Even when we don't live up to those divine expectations, we are still created with God in mind, because God created us from in there. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it now, even when it feels hardest to say, but I have to be me. If my child and your child are in danger, grave danger, I'm going after mine first. It's a particular kind of love. I can't explain it. I just know it's in me. And I wouldn't flinch. But the fact that I would do that doesn't mean yours isn't equally worthy of that same love, that same rescue. It is both possible, and I believe necessary, to sit and grieve and to stand in solidarity with our own families, our first-degree siblings, and also mourn the loss of other people's babies when they are killed. We can do both. On Passover, our freedom holiday, our escape from slavery holiday, We actually diminish wine in the cup to force a moment of sadness for our oppressors, the Egyptians who died in the sea, and not just our oppressors, the ones who were coming after us. In the moment of our liberation celebration, we make space to mourn the loss in the outer layers of our concentric circles. No matter whose fault it may be, if we can't well up for innocent human loss, for babies and for children, even within enemy territory, we have lost some part of us that God has given us, the piece that makes us utterly special and unique among all creations. The capacity to expansively understand sometimes who our siblings could one day be, should we can be with our family's pain. I'm in the East. I'm in Israel. All week. That's where I am. I am in Israel. I am with my family's pain. We can fight for our family's safety. We're doing that. We're not going to stop doing that. We're organizing. We have a committee. We're feeding. We're dedicating time. We're dedicating money. We are not going to stop feeling deeply for the loss of innocent human life. We can prioritize the resources of our own. We can stand morally strong on the side of goodness, rightness. I hope we do. But we are not going to abandon the peacemakers. Those who choose to stand in multiple places of pain at once. We can acknowledge that the peacemaker's job has been set back. So you need more chizuk. We will not abandon our peacemakers. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to be in or lead a spiritual community which couldn't do all of these things at once. Ayeka, where are you? Where am I? I'm home with my family. In the East, I'm in Israel. The ones who taught me what it means to be a sibling's keeper in the first place. My beloved Israel. I didn't think I'd be home this week, not in this way, but I am. In the East, from the West, I'm with my family as they fight for their lives. I'm with my family as we continue to fight for self-determination. May peace come swiftly and may it come soon. I fear it won't, but I will not stop praying for it or hoping for it. May our captives be brought home safely, swiftly, and soon. I fear the worst, but I won't stop praying and hoping and calling politicians who might be able to help make it happen. May our hearts be both fortified and open for what's to come. I fear for what's next, but I also believe in the eternal heart of Judah, a lion's heart. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so.